Ahead on 12 News, poolside panic. Now that the weather has warmed up, are you warmed up to the idea of wearing a swimsuit? Plus, sizzling spring sales.
The market's turned around just recently.
A local realtor gives us an up-close look at the housing market. But first, a field in need of a fix in Brooklyn Center. We get to the root of the problem. 12 News starts right now. Graduating seniors and people wanting to use the athletic field at Brooklyn Center High School will have to make other plans for the next few months.
That's because some unwelcome visitors have put the field in unusable condition. 12 News reporter Delane Cleveland shows us why.
Oh, they fake it. And it does not fool Brooklyn Center.
Football can be a rough game.
Wally fakes it to Carter, and he'll take it himself.
Not just for the players.
And Wally is going to go down.
But also for the field.
The damage we saw last fall was just above and beyond what we'd seen other years.
In fact, the field conditions at Brooklyn Center High School were so poor last fall.
Never seen it this bad.
It left school officials downright confused.
It looked bad, and I didn't know whether it was something we did or didn't do.
After calling in an expert, Dan Kreckelberg discovered that grubs were to blame.
It's a worm. What they do is they eat the roots of the grass plant down about 4 or 5 inches.
The grubs made the field their home thanks to the dry fall, which meant that athletes using it for football and soccer tore the grass right off at the root.
The grubs actually they impacted the entire field. Between the 30-yard lines where the most activity happens, that's where you saw the most damage.
To fix the problem, school officials first have to eliminate the grubs, then restore the turf. Work began to renovate the field this past Friday. If they're not done with the project on time, they'll have to move the June 6th commencement ceremony indoors.
My gut feeling is because of the late start we got, because of the very cold spring we've had, I'm about 60-40 no, that it won't be out here.
He's got an excellent chance to grab it and run if he wants to.
Athletic teams won't be able to use it either.
Then he just kind of loses his footing.
It's an issue they'll have to deal with now to ensure that the field is ready for fall sports.
The problem is you know, it's going to inconvenience for a while until it's completely done. There's no way to do it any faster, so it's, you know, we can't do it in the wintertime, so it has to be now.
In Brooklyn Center, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Brooklyn Center District officials expect the restoration work on the field to cost up to $7,500.
It was designed to keep home values up in Brooklyn Park.
But this week, the City Council took the first step towards getting rid of an ordinance requiring home sellers to get a point-of-sale inspection. Renee Bonneau breaks down the council's decision.
Mike and Alex, Brooklyn Park is one of 14 cities in the metro to do a home inspection before a house or condo can be sold. The city inspector follows a strict checklist to identify safety and maintenance issues. The ordinance was adopted in 2007, right before the foreclosure crisis hit. Brooklyn Park city manager told the council point-of-sale inspections helped preserve value in the city's housing stock during that tough time. But realtors and others opposed to the ordinance say point-of-sale inspections take too long and get in the way of willing buyers and sellers.
What our main mission statement from the inception of the Realtors Association is for the protection of private property rights and the ability to unencumbered transfer real estate. So that's why we are engaged in these types of discussions.
This ordinance is not for the real estate community. It's for making sure that the housing stock in Brooklyn Park is protected and that those values are preserved.
The matter will go before the council at least 2 more times before anything is official. There's no word yet on when this will take effect. And Mike and Alex, with the housing market picking up, I'm sure there's lots of homeowners here in the city who are really waiting to see the outcome and see this through.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Renee. And just like the weather, the Twin Cities housing market is warming up, and that's good news if you're a seller. As Sonia Goen shows us, some homes are selling in a matter of hours.
This is the kitchen. It's, I guess, the best thing about it, it's got tons of good storage.
Brad McDonald just put his Plymouth home on the market 2 days ago.
It's got 4 bedrooms, all upstairs, so they're all on one level.
There's not even a for sale sign up yet, but he's confident it will sell.
It's a nice house. I feel like it has some really good features and it'll sell pretty easily.
In fact, some experts say the demand for homes is the best it's been in years.
The market's turned around just recently. I would say probably in February and March, it just started to pick up, and now homes are selling in less than 15 days.
This is definitely a seller's market. There are not too many for sale signs going up, and sellers are often getting offers higher than the asking price.
I will bump the price up about $10,000, and they're selling.
Realtor Renee Miller says she recently sold a house in Maple Grove in 2 days.
When a good quality home goes on the market and it's priced right, it'll sell quickly.
She says buyers have to be prepared to act quickly if they want to get the home they want.
If you're a buyer in today's market, you want to get with a good lender that's going to have a lot of information up front, so you're a well-qualified buyer and you can come in with a nice strong offer, then you'll get accepted over the multiple offers.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Realtor Renee Miller also says homes in the Northwest Metro are appraising at a higher value than in previous years, and that's of course good news for homeowners who are underwater on their mortgages.
A small, heavily wooded area in Maple Grove will soon become new homes. A developer wants to build 14 homes on an 8-acre site off of Lawndale Lane, south of Bass Lake Road. The site features more than an acre of wetlands. City Council gave the initial okay to the project, which would include building a new street to access the subdivision. Prices for the new homes would range from $500,000 to $800,000.
Plymouth is looking at buying land in the fast-growing northwest part of the city for a new park and play field. City Council members are meeting in a closed session Tuesday night to discuss the possibility of buying the Bayesian farm near Vicksburg Lane. The Bayesian estate is planning to accept bids on nearly 40 acres of land later this week. One council member says there is tons of support from people who live in the area, but it's unclear how expensive it will be.
We already have one example locally of cities sharing fire services. That would be Crystal and New Hope with the West Metro Fire Department. But would it make sense for other cities to expand sharing services? Brooklyn Park was the driving force behind a recently completed shared services study. The study looks at potential cost savings from combining local fire departments. Local city leaders will take a look at the idea Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. at the Crystal Community Center.
That Minnesota Wild jersey or Twins baseball cap could cost a little more under a tax proposal at the legislature. A 10 to 13% tax on sports memorabilia is currently in the House and Senate tax bills. It would apply to any sports merchandise that has a professional logo or Division I collegiate logo. Critics of the proposal say the tax will be passed on to the consumer, and it could hurt youth sports too, since some teams use equipment that's licensed by professional sports teams.
A wholesaler is going to pass that on to the retailer. The retailer is going to pass that on to the consumer. So ultimately the consumer is going to pay more. And it really probably results in an end 20 to 26% increase in the price of a product to a consumer.
Senator Ann Rest of New Hope says this tax proposal is one possible way to help reduce the state's $627 million deficit. Rest says if it's brought up, the Senate plans to drop the tax on Division I collegiate sports merchandise. Coming up, perhaps something not so cool for the pool.
Getting into that swimsuit can be intimidating. We'll have some not so intimidating tips. Then later in sports, we catch up with Cooper's baseball team as they look to continue a strong start on the diamond.
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. It took longer than normal, but spring is finally here.
But after months of bundling up in sweaters and coats, the thought of pulling out swimsuits and shorts can be intimidating, even for the guys. In today's Health Check, Elaine Cleveland has some tips on how to build confidence and get swimsuit ready.
One more here.
The gym is a busy place this time of year.
People are starting to panic a little bit.
Panic from the realization that the season of tank tops, shorts, and swimsuits is upon us.
Good.
Maple Grove resident Susan Perkins knows that panic all too well.
I'm 1 year out from having cancer, and then also both of my parents passed within a month of each other this last year. So I really kind of got in a funk emotionally and physically.
Right leg and left leg.
Twice a week since March.
Keep that front knee over your ankle.
Personal trainer Amanda Wittig has been helping Susan get out of that funk.
Well, Susan came to me about 6 weeks ago, and her main goal was to lose about 10 pounds. But more importantly, it was the weight loss around the midsection.
It's a common goal she hears this time of year, and it requires a well-rounded program.
If we were to break it down, exercise would be 20% and nutrition would be 80%.
It all starts with nutrition.
Some great options for lunch or dinner could be a salad with some protein, lots of vegetables for your carbohydrates, and healthy fats through either nuts and seeds or maybe an olive oil-based dressing.
But besides focusing on food,
right leg first, good, all the way down.
She recommends an exercise program that includes cardio and strength training.
If you're just starting out, or maybe if you're focusing on weight loss, if you put in 3 to 4, cardio sessions a week, plus 2 total body strength training programs, you may double up on one of those days, but you definitely want 1 day of rest. And exhale up.
Susan has stayed true to that diet and exercise regimen these past 6 weeks.
Not only has this been just a 6-week change, it's also a lifestyle change for me.
Now, Amanda considers Susan as a full-fledged success story.
My clothes fit better, my skirts go on really nice, so it's great.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
In addition to a healthy diet and spending time at the gym, personal trainers recommend 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. They say when you're sleep deprived, your metabolism slows down. You don't want that to happen.
No, getting stressed out thinking about all those things you got to do.
Well, did you know it is Teacher Appreciation Week? Coming up, Channel 12 pays tribute to some local teachers.
But first in sports, a softball thriller with a great ending. John Jacobson has highlights of Maple Grove versus Coon Rapids up next.
John Jacobson with sports. We are done complaining about the weather. It is very nice outside. Perfect day for baseball.
Teams are at it.
Teams are at it. Cooper's had a lot of rest. They haven't played too much yet, and it's going well. Cooper's baseball team has had a good run of contending for the title in the North Suburban Conference. The Hawks haven't played that many games yet, but they're having success. Cooper hosting Spring Lake Park in a conference game. Top of the third, the Panthers with 2 runners on, but Tyler Haley gets the strikeout to end the inning. To the bottom of the third, the Hawks with a runner up third and 2 out. Nawan Norke beats out the grounder for an infield hit, scoring Nathan Lutmer for a 2-0 lead. In the bottom of the fourth, Dylan Erickson's ground ball gets through the wickets at third. Seth Anderson scores, and it's 3-1 Hawks. Fifth inning, Trey Rooney rips a shot to the gap and hustles to second for a leadoff double for Cooper. And then 2 batters later, Norke at the plate. And he brings Rooney home with a shot down the line. It's an RBI double for Norke and a 4-1 Cooper lead. That's the finals. The Hawks win it to stay unbeaten. They are at Chisago Lakes Wednesday. After a state runner-up finish in Class 3A last season, the Maple Grove softball team is looking for a very strong season again in 2013. They got a good test from an improved conference foe Monday. Coon Rapids paying a visit to Maple Grove in this one. Maple Grove trails 1-0 in the fourth when Michelle Gorchette shows some good patience, taking the pitch for ball 4, and that scores Sarah Southern. Still in the fourth, Abby Bennell slaps one down the line and left. Taylor Bratton and Brianna Basil score on Bennell's double, and Maple Grove grabs a 3-1 lead. But in the sixth, with the Crimson up 3-2, a big swing by Katie Bowden ties it for Coon Rapids. Her long drive is a solo home run and goes to extra inning, tied at 3. In the top of the eighth, Shayla Huffman smashes a rocket past the third baseman in the left field. The score, Rachel Surratt. Coon Rapids takes a 4-3 lead. But Maple Grove wins it in dramatic fashion. Bases loaded, Jordan Monk drives a high fly ball to the left. The outfielder tumbles over the mesh fence. The tying and winning run score on Monk's double. Maple Grove pulls out a 5-4 thriller. In boys tennis, the season is especially short this season. Section play begins in the middle of next week for most teams. Armstrong hosted Cooper in a non-conference match. Number 1 singles, Mark Conrad of Armstrong in the far court facing Corey Loken. Conrad with a nice winner, gets the point and wins his match in straight sets. At second singles, Tyler Cogswell of Cooper in the far court against Nikito Snezhko. Cogswell gets the winner, but Snezhko takes the match for Armstrong 6-1, 6-2. Number 3 singles, Hunter Fernelius in the far court playing Cooper's Aaron Fay. Fay's return here just wide, and Fernelius wins in straight sets. First doubles, Nate Vernig and Sam Jordan playing for Armstrong against Patrick Coon and Derek Vegbu. Vernig and Jordan win the point as Armstrong takes the match 6-1. The Hawks won their only team point at second doubles. Champlin Park's boys lacrosse team is ranked number 5 in this week's state rankings. The Rebels look to score their 4th straight win and take care of business against Osseo-Park Center. First quarter, Champlin Park's Connor Smith goes low with the shot to score, and it's 2-0 Rebels. Second quarter, OPC gets on the board. Ben Schroeder, nice feed to Boone Almquist for the goal, and it's a 3-1 game. Second quarter still, watch this play. Luke Dahlman taking a beating up top, gets to his knees, gets the pass off. Ryan McNeil scores, and the Rebels are up 4-1. And Champlin Park goalie Joey Dockin makes a big stop here, stopping Jeremy Nelson. Nice save by the Champlin Park senior. Third quarter, Rebels add to their lead. Justin Linderholm scores to make it 7-1. Fourth quarter, Almquist picks up an assist with his pass to Scott Lane for the Osseo-Park Center goal. The Champlin Park responds. McNeil, the Linderholm for the final goal of the night as Champlin Park beats Osseo-Park Center 11-3. Rebels girls also beat Osseo-Park Center, while Maple Grove's boys and girls lacrosse teams both won Monday as well. And that's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John.
Well, still ahead, a tribute to teachers.
See what students at Edenbrook Elementary in Brooklyn Park like best about their teachers.
Finally, think back to your school days. Chances are there's probably at least one teacher who made a difference in your life.
That's true. In honor of National Teacher Appreciation Week, we asked 6th graders at Edenbrook Elementary in Brooklyn Park to tell us what makes a great teacher.
When you're like doing math or something, the grade teacher does like games and stuff. They turn it into a game, then like you're learning, but you don't realize it.
A great teacher is somebody that helps you through your problems.
A really good teacher would make a lot of jokes and would be fun to be around.
A really good teacher teaches us and we don't realize it that she's teaching us.
If you're doing a math problem and they like do a rhyme, then it'll be easier to remember in your head.
And we were just talking, Renee Bonneau, one of the reporters, she still remembers all 50 states because of a song a teacher taught her, in order.
In alphabetical
order. Yeah, you have any memories like that?
Not like that. There was a teacher at Spring Lake Park High School, an English teacher, Mrs. Sassenfar, back in the 70s, who, yeah, she was an influence on me too.
Good English teacher for me too, so
yeah.
Something in common there. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow beginning at 4.